Hey, Ugly Mug friends out there. All right, so Jessica here. I'm going to go ahead and apologize. I'm at home right now, and so if you hear two little ones in the background, those are mine, and hey, this is life, right? So I'm joined today. I'm really excited about this interview or chat. Here today with Maggie Bagwell. Maggie is a graduate from Alexandria Senior High School in 2016. So you may be thinking, oh my gosh, like she's super young. But we're doing this interview because Maggie just graduated from Louisiana Tech University, go Dogs, where she graduated with a degree in electrical engineering. And so obviously with all of that entails a lot of bravery on, I think, anybody who's an engineer's part, but also the fact that they had to finish out their senior year, their senior projects, all during COVID. And then on top of that, finding jobs, finding their careers, changing locations, all of that, all while finishing school and COVID on top of it. So we're going to talk a little bit about Maggie's journey through finishing all of this and finding her career, which is really exciting. So, hey, Maggie, how are you?
Good. Really, really good today. I am moving to Texarkana as we speak, so it's a really good day for us.
So, Maggie, what was okay, first question is, what led you to Louisiana Tech once you graduated high school?
Well, my dad graduated from Tech. He was an alumni, and all throughout my childhood, it was kind of an option. And of course, being, young, I was like, I'm not going there. And then I toured it, and I just fell in love with it. The atmosphere is so great. Ruston is the best town. It's great family atmosphere, and it's big but small. So it was a perfect fit for me. And then I went there freshman year and fell more in love.
What about, and for those of you who don't know, I've known Maggie for a very long time. She is a graduate from the dance studio that I teach at. But Maggie, you've always been driven to go through to engineering. That was always kind of a part of your path. What led you to electrical engineering?
It's kind of a funny story because at the beginning of high school, I wanted to be a doctor. And I got to my senior year and I decided on tech, and I was like, well, they have a great engineering program, and there's actually an engineering that could allow me to be a doctor. So I went into that engineering, took a few classes, and realized that I did not like the doctoring part. Like the chemistry to biology was not for me, but I really fell in love with circuits and the electrical aspect. So I changed my major to electrical engineering, and that's history.
That's so awesome. I know so many people, I think, who graduate college who start college in one direction, and then they get led to another. And so it's really great though that you started with that like engineering mindset. And so I'm sure that definitely helped you keep going through to the electrical engineering program. So one of the things you were telling me about was your senior project. So obviously a senior project is a huge ordeal, especially in the engineering. I can remember my days at Tech, knowing those older engineering, and we basically didn't see them for months on end because of senior project. So what was that like, having to finish that all up? Or you guys started the quarter and like one day and then had to turn around and be off campus?
Yes, basically. So our senior project starts in the fall quarter, and my group, we're all in like individual groups, was actually working with a company. So that kind of made it a little more difficult because we couldn't go to the company anymore. But we worked on it. And then when March happened, our spring quarter started. We got 3 days in, and then they were like, oh, you got to go home. So our teachers were really, really great. They were like, while you're transitioning through all this, just don't worry about your senior project. Because at that point, the way that like the schedule laid out, we were already 75% done. So that was really nice, but we still had a lot of work to do. So they were like, you have 3 months, take some time, figure out what you need to figure out. We'll reconvene if you need to. Just email us if you have any issues. And then when the times come to present, sometimes you have what you have. But we had to do our senior project. I ended up having to go to Ruston a few times Because my group, I couldn't do it remotely. Some groups were able to. Unfortunately, I was not. But we got our project done. I think we started meeting to Ruston about a month before. So we got a month off of it, and then we started going back. And we did our senior project presentation in front of the board of the electrical engineering department on Zoom, which was it was kind of nerve-wracking because we had a lot more people show up than we were expecting. I think we had like 60 people on our Zoom call, and usually I think maybe like 10 people show up, and that's usually just the board members. So that was kind of scary, but my group was able to meet up and do our project, but a lot of groups weren't able to. So they had to figure out like how to work the technology stuff at home, which was another obstacle they had to face. But that was probably the most stressful part of the whole COVID thing, finishing that, because that's like, you put in all that work. It's a year-long thing, and then it comes to the end, you're like, but I want to finish it. But we were able to finish ours.
That's awesome. And that actually, so, one of the things that we have talked about with different people, different industries, different, at different parts of their life, we talked with people who were just trying to start opening their businesses, like literally, okay, my opening date is April 1st, and then COVID. And so it's the same thing for, especially seniors, whether it's a high school senior or a college senior. And I just recently also did a talk with Krista Redmond, who is getting her doctorate. All these lifelong goals that for people that just kind of got paused, but a really great word that's come out of all of this has been adapting, and just going with the flow, and not just saying, okay, well, let me just throw my senior project to the wind and say, forget it. You guys figured out a way to still be able to finish that. And that's amazing. And I think that's going to speak volumes once you guys are now part of the real world and out there. So also, okay, so with this, obviously a lot of seniors, some start looking for jobs end of their junior year. Some are looking for jobs at the end of their senior year. Some people are starting to look for careers after summer. So you found yours, luckily, in the late fall. So how was all of that? How did that all happen?
So Tech does a really good job, at least with the engineering department, to try to push students to kind of get a job early on. So they have a fall career fair and a spring one. Spring one was online this year. But I went to the fall one, and I met with graphic packaging, and I got my job in November. And I was I just went to career fair just because I needed to get interview experience. And then I fell in love with the company. So I just got, honestly, it was just really luck and timing. A lot of guys in my class, some of them were able to find jobs and some of them haven't been. It's just kind of a toss up. I know people who had a job lined up with like an internship, and now they can't even go back because of COVID. Like, they're not an essential business, or just like economic stuff happened. So it's just kind of been not more difficult to find a job, but it's just like, oh no, like we thought we had time and now we don't. But I got really lucky in just being proactive about it.
But that's really a perfect word for, again, whatever your situation is being proactive. So you could have easily said, oh, well, there's going to be, and obviously in the fall, we had no idea COVID was going to happen. Not even on anyone's radar. You could have easily said, you know what, there's a spring career fair. I'll just wait for that one to come around. And thankfully you didn't, obviously. And I'm sure those who maybe couldn't make it or didn't, hopefully went to the spring one. And that's awesome that they were still able to have that, somehow, some way, for the other students. And so as you just said, you got to move today. How exciting. I always feel like when you're like, those transitions in life, it's always different, moving from your hometown to your college town, and then moving from your college town to your, where you're going to be living. And then you could be moving from there and all kinds of stuff. So tell me how you feel right now. So you're starting in 2 weeks, right? Okay. So how are you feeling right now that graduation is over, and that in 2 weeks you're going to be starting your career?
It's a lot to process. I think I'm right now just trying to in like a processing mood, like okay, like taking it a day at a time. Because I was at the beach during our graduation ceremony, and my mom looked at me, she's like, "Do you feel any different?" I was like, "I have no idea," but it's I don't know. I feel like I'm really lucky. Tech has been so amazing through all of this. We actually do get a real graduation, like a real graduation, where we get to walk across the stage and everything in August. So it's like, I don't want to shut that door quite yet because I'm about to have to reopen it. But it's really exciting. It's all new. And I really just am processing it all and just like really thankful that I'm still able to like move and go and start my career.
No, that's awesome. And that's beautifully said too. Sometimes, again, you're not able to shut that door or, move the tassel over, and so that's really awesome. And you still, maybe you still kind of feel like, hey, I'm still not a grown-up, but I am a grown-up. So what is something that you would tell anyone, whether they are a graduating high school senior, a graduating college senior, and I know this may sound like a crazy question to ask, but maybe somebody who is even thinking of switching careers, whatever their age is, what is something that you would tell them going through what you did with COVID, through your journey with it? What is some advice you would give any of those people?
I would say don't, like, this is so cheesy, but don't be afraid to fail. That was something that that was my like one motto during college, like taking that one step out of your comfort zone. Because that's what I didn't want to go to career fair in the fall. I was scared. I was like, am I doing this too early? And then I got out of my comfort zone and did it. And then the dominoes all fell. And with this, just like, it's obviously a really scary time. It's a lot of uncertainty, but I guess just taking every day and living it to the fullest.
Hey, that was awesome.
That was a hard one.
No, that was great. And I think one thing, like I said, we've done a few of these interviews, and there's definitely several words that keep coming up, collaboration. Obviously, you were still able to collaborate with your team for your senior project, and that's awesome. But also, yeah, you had a lot more people on that Zoom call than normal, but who knows whom you may have changed somebody's mind about maybe the direction that they were going on, where they wouldn't have gotten that opportunity had this not happened. And I love the don't be afraid. That's such a great motto to have, no matter where you are in your life. I know people who are like, oh, I've always wanted to do this. And it's like, well, why not? Just go for it. So I really appreciate it. Maggie, thank you so much for your time. Obviously, I am very proud of you, just on a personal note, but we are excited to see what the future holds for you, and good luck starting the careers.
Thank you for having me, Jess. I admire you and just everything you've done and just been there for me. So thank you so much.
Oh, of course. All right, Facebook friends, I hope everybody has a great rest of their day. Bye, guys.
Bye.